A very good morning, all of you, and welcome to the last LVRC of the four LVRC sessions we had. This is the last one. This is the final one where we touch upon chapter number 5. We touch upon a lot of questions we've been practicing in the previous ones. Today, we try to conclude all those questions. We practice exam papers. We go through some very important case scenarios. We go through how to solve the case scenarios, MCQs, and descriptive questions. My name is C. Arjit Sethi, and I welcome you to this LVRC session once again on a Sunday morning. And thanks for joining. For all those who are joining, I see Asta, Mujahid, Pooja joining in as we wait for others to join in as well. Quick check-in for the class, right? How has been your confidence over the last 3 sessions? Today is the last one though. So I want you to use this to ask any questions, clarifications. You want me to repeat a topic, you want me to explain a topic, you want to share a question, you are facing some challenge. Use today's class the maximum, my dear friends. But how has been your confidence on strategic management so far? How confident are you? You feel you can ace it, you're still confused, you're very scared. What's the feeling around with your preparation? Asta, Mujahid, Pooja, would be very happy if you can share in the chat with me. What's the kind of preparation feeling you have for strategic management? You feel confident, you are scared, you don't know, you're still confused, you face some challenges. It'd be good to know of what kind of preparation we have so that we can revise in the same way today. We can use the next 2.5 hours to the best of our time and to the best of things we really need. Okay, still confused, still not very sure, right? You're very confident, awesome. You're facing challenges, Mujahid. So ask questions today. Use the platform to ask questions, get clarification on your doubts. Very nice, Asta. Very happy to know you're confident and you're very clear in thoughts. And as I've been saying, do not overthink, okay? That is what I have seen in the previous classes for you, Asta. Do not overthink. You know the answer. You most likely, I've seen, always know the right answer. You start overthinking and you start confusing yourself. Don't do that. Okay. Great. We have Julie joining us as well. Julie, how is your feeling of strategic management? How well do you think your preparation is? Because the exams are almost just round the corner, right? May 2026, we're almost in April, a month left. So it's basically time when you go full force revision for all the subjects, obviously. You just don't have to give strategic management, so you have to prioritize your time. You have to manage your time. I'll help you do that as well. We'll talk a bit about time management, a bit about priority in terms of how do you revise the entire syllabus, not just strategic management, but how do you manage your time or time allocation? Where should we do that? How should we do that in the last month? I can share my tips, what has helped me over the years. We'll talk about that as well. Okay, great. So let me quickly dive into first, we revise our chapter number 5. Okay. You keep putting your questions, guys, in the chat wherever you feel, whatever topic you want me to stress on. Feel free to ask. This is your class, so don't hesitate. Okay. No question is a wrong question. So here we go. Chapter number 5, my friend, strategy, implementation, and evaluation. Chapter 1 was about basics of strategic management, the vision, the mission, the intent, values, goals, objectives, long-term objectives, characteristics of objectives, We talked about the basics of strategic management. Chapter 2 was about external analysis, analyzing things beyond the control of the organization, demographic, pestle. We talked about a lot about external world and how do you analyze that. Chapter 3 was about evaluating yourself, your product, your company, who you are, why you're doing, what are your core competencies, what the core competency is going to lead to a competitive advantage, what is going to happen there, right? We talked a lot about internal things like competition, then we talked about some very, very important topics within Michael Porter's purview, the Michael Porter's topics, right? Chapter 4 was all about strategic choices. It was about we have all the information. I know the basics of my strategy. I know the external world. I know the internal world. Now I have to make a choice. That is chapter number 4, where you go and make a strategic choice. It can be a growth strategy, retrenchment strategy, turnaround strategy, vertical forward, vertical backward, horizontal, conglomerate, concentric. It could be a strategic alliance. It could be a joint venture. It could be a merger. It could be an acquisition, right? That's growth strategy. You can either opt to be in a strategy where you are stable. You can either be in a strategy where you want to grow, or you can be in a strategy where you want to retrench, you want to come back, you want to step down, you want to sell off your business, you want to turn around your business if it's facing problems. Those three strategic choices you have as a strategic manager, as a strategist, and you can choose from all these options. And how do you choose what to do? We talked about some matrices, which was BCG matrix, ADL matrix. We talk about the ANSOF, right? We talk about the GE stoplight matrix or green light matrix. Those matrices help you identify what kind of strategy is most suitable in a certain scenario. And then comes chapter number 5, which says, hey, you got all information in first three chapters. You figured out what you want to do in chapter number 4. How would you implement and execute your strategy is all about chapter number 5. So chapter number 5 talks about सब कुछ planning हो गई, आओ काम करें, right? The real implementation, execution, and evaluation is taught in chapter number 5. I have a question. Let me solve that and then let's get into chapter number 5. Sustainability of competitive advantages. Please repeat. Okay, Pooja, absolutely. Let's go to this is revision class. Very good. You have a doubt, ask us. And let's go to here. Competitive advantage. ये लीजिए. Let me know once you can see. Okay. Now, Pooja, simple. A competitive advantage should be sustainable. Why? See, okay. Now, which is basically durability, should last long. Sustainability, durability is essentially meaning it should last long. Now think about this, Pooja. This topic says the competitive advantage which you have because you have a core competency or an advantage you have over your competition should be sustainable, which means it should not be for the short term. ऐसा नहीं है 3 महीने आप you were having an advantage over competition and it then went away. It should be long term. It should be sustainable, right? You can sustain that over long period of time, which is 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, so that so that you can keep gaining more market share, you can keep growing. So the competitive advantage should be sustainable. It should not be short term. It should be a long term advantage which helps you over a long period of time to sustain your business, to grow your business. Okay. 2 दिन की advantage is not an advantage. It should be a very long uh, term advantage that comes in because of this. Okay, that is sustainability. That is sustainability. Okay, let's get to our chapter number 5. What we were talking about. Here we go. Okay, implementation and evaluation. Let's see this chart first. This is what I was talking about. Okay, chapter 1, developing things, the basics. Chapter 2, understanding your external environment. Chapter 3, understanding the internal organization. Chapter 4, making a choice. And chapter 5 is all about implementation, right? The implementation part comes at chapter number 5. Now, what does implementation actually include? Okay, now implementation का मतलब है actual execution. But before that, it's important to understand the difference between a strategic planning and an operational planning. Abhi tak what we have been doing in the first 4 chapters is strategic planning, where we are building around a strategy, having a long-term view of what we want to do, how we want to do, who will do what, right? All of that is part of your strategic planning. Operational planning is actual planning of ये होगा कैसे? How will all of this happen? What all resources we need? Who will do what exactly at a process level, right? How will the process move from A to B to C to D, and how will a product be produced? Shipping कैसे होगी? Pricing क्या होगी? Right? Who will be basically responsible for bringing in the raw material? Procurement team है, क्या raw material आएगा, किससे आएगा? What are the contracts? What are the contractual terms? The real intricate planning of every single process, every single action that needs to be taken to execute your strategic plan is called operational plan, right? The current deployment of develops tactics rather than strategy. It's about real ways of doing business rather than just overall holistic strategy. Okay. So for implementation, you need a strategic plan to know where you are headed, what you want to do. But how will all of this happen will be answered through operational planning. Okay. Every single process broken down planning is called operational planning. Okay. Great. Now, another important thing that comes here is this. Now, strategic is uncertain, right? So how do you, question is frequently asked in examination. Tactics means small local steps. Yes. Kuldeep, tactics means tricks and tips, the ways of doing business, the tactics of the business, right? So, for example, the tactics of the business is I will bring in a lot of product. I will get a lot of raw material on a Wednesday in the middle of the week. Why? Because it's cheaper. Let's say, I'm just giving an example. So that's a tactic. So the overall goal is, let's say my overall strategy is being a cost leader. Okay, cost leadership is the strategy I am following. The operational planning will be every process, every activity of my business. How do I save my cost? That is going to be the tactics. That is going to be developing tactics. That's my operational plan. हर जगह पैसे कैसे बचा सकता हूँ, that's going to be operational plan. The strategic plan is identifying that, hey, I want to be a cost leader. Operational planning is how will I be a cost leader? So from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, or let's say 20 things I have to do in my business, how do I save cost in every step? From, let's say, instead of buying a 10 rupee handbag to give your stuff to the customer, you buy a 2 rupee rough paper saying, hey, recycled paper, and you charge them money, right? And that's tactic, that's operational planning. That's all about tactics of the business. You go to a shop, they say, hey, you want a handbag, 10 rupees. That handbag is hardly 50 paise. They charge 10 rupees from you. You're most likely say, no, I don't need it. They're saving cost. उनके 50 पैसे भी बच गए. And if you say, no, I want a bag, they're charging you 100 times more. 100 भी नहीं ज़्यादा, right? So that is tactics. Now, a frequently asked question, my friends, what you also see on the screen is question बड़ा simple है. The world is unfair. The environment is ever changing. Whatever you plan might not be as you want it to be. But here we are talking about money. You're investing your money, you're investing your time in a business. So, how would you deal with uncertainty? How would you deal with changing environment? How would you deal with the changing market preference, customer preference, changing technology, changing competition? How would you deal with changing laws, rules, and regulations of your business? How would you do that? Simple question है, basic question है, and genuine question है. How would you deal with uncertainty in your business? Here's the answer. 1. Flexible. Make strategies which are flexible and not very rigid. Make strategies which are not as we said कि ये ही होगा, ये नहीं होगा तो खत्म business. No. Your strategies have to be flexible enough to adapt to changes. Number 2, diversify. The biggest flex of the biggest swag, the biggest benefit, the biggest importance of diversification strategy is that you reduce the risk of failure. Because अगर एक product नहीं चला, maybe something else will. You are not at a dead end if one thing doesn't work. So diversify. So diversification as a strategy helps to mitigate or minimize the impact of uncertainty in the business. Okay. Number 3, monitoring and scenario planning. If then analysis जो होता है ना वो करके रखना in your business. It says you have to keep monitoring the environment and you have to create scenario plans, which is if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. If that happens, that is what I'm going to do. If this happens, this is what we do. If this happens, this is what we do. If that happens, this is what we do. So आपने scenarios बना के रखें. Exactly like a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. Prepare that scenario overall plan in your mind for your business. If this happens, this is what we're going to do. So let's say, for example, a business today knows कि यार world में हो रही है war. Okay, the world is going through a war. I shouldn't say war, but essentially the entire world is impacted. So world is going through a war, and there is shortage of oil, there is shortage of gas, everything petroleum, everything is there. Who's going to benefit the most from this war? What do you think? Who is going to which industries essentially? Let me not say who, which industries would benefit the most from this chaos? I'll give you an example. I think electric vehicle industry is going to get a boost. Exactly, Kuldeep, right? Electric vehicles are going to get a massive boost in the next 6 months because of this chaos. People will be like, yeah, तेल तो कभी भी बढ़ जाता है. The price of petrol, all of this is so risky. And if I'm getting a car, I would rather drive a car for 7, 8 years at least. We don't keep changing cars every day, or any vehicle for that matter. Electric vehicle is going to do a crazy marketing, and they have this golden opportunity to convert a lot of people to electric vehicles, right? Renewable sources, correct? alternate things demand increase. Correct. That is how you do monitoring and scenario planning as well, my friend. Okay. Now you are creating, if this war ends tomorrow, this is what we as an electric vehicle company will do. If it keeps on going for another 6, 8, 10 months, like the Russia-Ukraine war is still going on, there is no verdict on that as well. It's been almost like 2 years, I guess. And so these are scenario plannings. If this happens, this is what we do. If that happens, this is what we do. If nothing happens, this is what we do. That is scenario planning. Okay. Number 4, building resilience. Building resilience का simple मतलब है, for your business, create a big bank balance. The more money you have, the more resilience you would have to a lot of changes and risk in the environment. So, how do you minimize the risk or uncertainty of your business? Is by building resilience, which means have a big bank balance. If something bad happens in the environment which is unfavorable to you, which is risky for you, you still have a lot of money in the bank to sustain for the next 5, 6, 10, 12, 100 months, whatever your funding is. So building resilience through a financially stable, financially flexible plan which helps you sustain through the bad times. That is building resilience. And number 5 is collaboration and partnerships. Now, collaboration and partnerships help you mitigate the risk as well, because now you share your profits, but you also share your risks and losses. तो अगर gain कम होगा because you're now in a collaboration, in a partnership with somebody, even if your profit is now shared, your risk or your loss is also shared. That's one way of mitigating your risk, is by sharing your risk with others. The counterpart is you will have to share your profits also. But again, if it's too risky, then you're also sharing your risks and losses as well. So which is not a bad thing if things are too risky, right? So number 5 is collaboration and partnership. Frequently asked question: how do you reduce or minimize the uncertainty of your strategy? Flexible strategy, diversification, monitoring, scenario planning, building resilience, and collaboration and partnership. Okay. Now, strategy implementation versus evaluation. If your implementation is good, but your formulation is bad, something will happen. If your formulation is good, your implementation is bad, something else will happen. If your implementation is bad, your formulation is also bad, something will happen. तो ये जो 4 boxes हैं, right, that tell you what will happen. So square A says, let me just zoom in a bit and then show you. Okay. Square A says, where the company has formulated a very good strategy. The formulation is great, but implementation is not so great. What do you need? The company needs a lot of mentoring. The company is missing some good leadership, lack of experience hai. Generally, startups are here where the idea, the formulation, the strategy is great, but the implementation is weak. What they need is good mentors. What they need is good help. What they need is good guidance. So that's box A. Box B is when your formulation, right? When your formulation is great and your implementation is also awesome, this is where a lot of companies would like to be and should be for success, which is square B, where your formulation is great, your implementation is also bang on, which means your timetable of preparation is great and you're following your timetable to perfection. That is square B for your exam prep. This is where you would like to be. Square C Square C is where companies haven't succeeded in coming with a very sound strategy, and they're also very bad at implementation. इन कंपनीज को बंद हो जाना चाहिए. One, they should stop doing business, or they should redesign their entire strategy from scratch because their formulation is bad and their execution is bad. Okay? Extremely bad idea, extremely bad execution is box C. Box D is where your implementation is great, but your formulation, your idea is not so great. Your strategy is not so great. Your vision is not so great. Your mission is not so clear. Your strategic choice you have taken is not very suitable to your organization, to your industry, to the kind of competition you have. The entire strategy doesn't make sense, but you're very good at implementation. You're very good at implementation. Now, the first thing you have to do is redesign your strategy because you are really good at executing. So don't miss the opportunity of building a business. Fatafat say change your strategy and start working on that because your execution is great. So work on your execution, but on the right thing, which means your timetable might be absolutely flawed. For example, आपको समझाता हूँ. Box D is, let's say you say, I will study for 2 hours every day only for the last 1 month of preparation. बच्चा मैं सिर्फ दिन में 2 घंटे पढ़ूंगा. That is your plan, that is your strategy, and you study for 2 hours. You study with full concentration for 2 hours, which means your execution is perfect. But is studying 2 hours only in the final month of exam preparation a good strategy? The answer is no. That is box D. Box D means you are great at execution, but आपका plan एकदम बकवास है. It's flawed. That is square D. Okay? Are we clear on this, guys? In the chat, please. Yes, quickly. I want each one of you to please give me a yes, clear. Awesome. Thanks, Kuldeep. Pooja, Mujahid, Sid, Julie, Asta, very okay. Pooja says yes, Mujahid yes, Asta yes. Yes, good. Very nice. Okay. Strategy formulation versus implementation. Again, let me tell you, my friends, chapter 5 से ना बहुत सारे questions आते हैं. It's a long chapter. But the good part about this chapter is it's very common sense and simple. If you understand the difference between formulation and implementation, it becomes pretty simple. But where you would lose marks is not using the keywords. Keywords are all highlighted here, you would see, right? Formulation, planning and decision making, implementation, execution. In short, strategy formulation is placing the forces before the action, and implementation is managing forces during the action. Formulation is entrepreneurial activity. Implementation is administrative activity, right? So this also, if, okay, let me put it this way. Sometimes there will be a question in the examination to differentiate between two things. A good way is to create a table like this, to answer in a table form where you show differences for each in the same line, that formulation versus implementation. Um, I don't know, maybe you can say a difference between a SWOT analysis and a pestle analysis, right? There could be a difference that can be asked between SWOT analysis and a pestle analysis, a formulation and an implementation, a forward integration versus a backward integration. Always try to make a table like this, which is a differentiation table. Okay. Chapter 5 also talks about this interesting yet very confusing, mostly, topic called effect effective versus efficient. I keep telling a question in my classes of medicine and the doctor for efficient and effectiveness. Do you guys recall that example? Any one of you who has also attended the LVC, do you remember that example? That a medicine and a doctor example for being efficient and being effective. जब दवाई लेते हो, when you take a medicine, what do you say? And if that medicine helps or is useful, what do you call? The medicine is effective or medicine is efficient? Effective होती है medicine. Why? It's doing the right thing. Okay? It's doing the right thing, which means it is curing you. It is killing the virus. It's doing the right thing. But is it doing the right way? Maybe not, because medicines have side effects, right? Generally, generally a lot of medicines will have some side effects as well. So medicines are effective, not efficient. Understand this. Efficient means doing the thing right. सही तरीके से करोगे तो that is being efficient. सही चीज करोगे, doing the right thing is being effective. So I might be very effective, but I might not be efficient. I might be doing the right thing, but I'm not doing it the right way, right? Effective तो हूं, but efficient नहीं. For example, for example, let me give you an example. If let's say a teacher scolds the student right, left, center, right? They demotivate them, they push them, they scold them, they probably just like totally bombard students with a lot of demotivation. तुमसे नहीं होगा, तुम लोग से कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. You guys don't study, you will never be able to become anything. This, that. And that actually pushes the student, that actually challenges the students to prove the teacher wrong. Is the teacher effective or efficient? Is the teacher effective or efficient? डांट के, मार धाड़ करके, challenging the students, and the students are studying. Students are then saying कि अब तो इनको करके दिखाऊंगा. The teacher is being effective or efficient? They're just being effective, my friend. They're just being effective. ये वो क्या कर रहे हैं? बच्चों को चैलेंज कर रहे हैं to become, to study more. But they're not doing the thing right. सही तरीके से नहीं कर रहे हैं. The motive, the end result might be right because they're doing the right thing. They might get the result, but they're not doing it the right way. They're not efficient. They are only effective. So that's the difference between being effective and being efficient. Okay? जो टेबल अभी हमने ऊपर ABCD देखा है, ये सेम टेबल है नीचे effective and efficiency की. If you're effective and efficient, you will thrive. If you're only, let's say you're ineffective, but you're very efficient, right? This should be efficient. यहाँ पे effective लिखा है. It should be efficient, right? If you're effective and you're not efficient, then you're probably, आप succeed तो करोगे, but survive कर पाओगे. ज़्यादा लंबे नहीं जा पाओगे. The task for every company here is to be both effective, and efficient. So, how do you write an answer? The answer is the goal of an organization should be to both be effective and efficient, which is doing the right thing and doing the thing right, which is doing the right thing the right way will help an organization thrive in the longer term. मैं गाड़ियां बना रहा हूं, but I'm polluting the environment a lot. I am making electric scooters, but I'm polluting the environment like anything. So I might be doing the right thing of working on a business which is electric for the environment, but I'm not doing the thing right. I'm not doing it the right way. Okay. So you have to be both effective and efficient to survive in the long term. That is your conclusion of the answer. You have to be both effective and efficient in the long term. Another topic which twists your mind is forward and backward linkage. Okay. Very nice. Asta, great question. Let me solve that for you. Let me read it out for everybody, and then it's a great question, Asta. Okay. Business conglomerates having multiple product folios formulate strategies at different levels. But it is also written that formulation of strategies in strategic management process is undertaken by top level executives. Very nice. Okay. Now, the topmost strategy of what needs to be done will always be taken by top level executives. But every level has their own strategies of actual work. Let me ask you this, Asta. Which level of organization decides the allocation of resources? Which level of organization generally decides the allocation of resources to get the work done? टॉप लेवल. ठीक है ना, टॉप लेवल डिसाइड करता है कि कितने पैसे कहाँ पे, किस फंड, क्या रिसोर्सेस किसको जाएंगे. वेरी गुड. एब्सोल्युटली. Which level of the organization decides the division of labor? Who does what and by what time? Timeline setting, division of work is done by which level? Divisional level, Asta. But Asta, book में तो लिखा है that formulation of strategies and strategic management processes undertaken by top level executives. तो ये आप divisional answer क्यों दे रहे हो? Why are you giving me divisional answer? You should say top level. Why did you give me the answer divisional? The division of work and setting of timelines is done by divisional level. That is what you said. Top level क्यों नहीं बोला आपने? Think and answer. Think and answer. Strategy top level बनाता है दोस्त. तो डिविजनल कैसे डिसाइड कर रहा है? Not top level work. अच्छा, okay. Let me ask you another question. The factory leader, the person in charge of the factory says, okay, uh, we have to do 12,000 units every day. Today we'll do 11,000, tomorrow we'll do 13,000. Which level of organization is that person at and taking a decision? The factory head's job is to make 12,000 units every day. अब वो कह रहे हैं कि यार मैं आज 11,000 बनवाऊंगा, कल 13,000 आई विल get manufactured. Can take a decision, nothing happens. Operational level, absolutely, Kuldeep. So now, Asta, to your question, in a conglomerate which has multiple product folios, formulation of strategies happens at different levels. What you're not reading between the lines is strategy formulation of their own work is done at different levels. The operational, the functional level manager is not making a strategy for the organization in a conglomerate. They are making strategy for their own responsible areas. The overall strategy of the organization is always made at the top level. But every person responsible will have their own strategy to deliver what they're asked to do. Sorry, right? So, again, Asta, reading between the lines, right? Question क्या है? In MCQ, they have taken top level. Question क्या है? कौन से MCQ में? Question क्या है? Again, I'll ask you again. Don't overthink and then answer, okay? Question क्या है? Formulation of strategies is in a strategic management process is undertaken by top level management always. Multiple product portfolios, or for that matter, every level formulates their own strategy, but organization strategy, the formulation of the strategy of the organization is always done at the top level. Please understand. Please understand. Okay. Asta, you are, let's say, the head of planning committee. You and your 5 friends are going to Goa. Please understand this. You and your 5 friends are going to Goa. Okay. You are the leader of the group. Okay. You will decide, you will decide where in Goa we will go, how we will go, what will be our budget is your responsibility. Is your friend going to wear a red top or a green top? That is your friend's strategic formulation. वो अपना कुछ दिमाग तो लगाएगा, वो भी घूमने जा रहा है, राइट? बट गोवा की पूरी प्लानिंग का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी किसके ऊपर है? आपके ऊपर है. यू आर द टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट. योर फ्रेंड और एनी ऑफ योर फ्रेंड्स हु आर गोइंग, वो शेड्स रखेंगे या हैट रखेंगे धूप से बचने के लिए? वो शूज पहनेंगे या स्लीपर्स पहनेंगे? राइट? वो दे विल कैरी देयर ओन फूड बिकॉज दे आर जैन और प्योर वेज. They will carry their own food. Is their strategy, is their formulation execution. बट गोवा की प्लानिंग किसकी है भाई? आपकी है. आप हो टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट. तो फॉर्मुलेशन ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजी इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द टॉप लेवल मैनेजमेंट. Each level will formulate their own strategy for their areas. But organization ki formulation of strategies in strategic management is the responsibility of top management. Is this clear? Is this clear? Awesome. Again, again, Asta, you're doing the same mistake. Please stick to what is being said, right? यहाँ तो वो लिखा है, वहां तो वो लिखा है. You will be confused like anything, right? This is pure what we have been talking about. Okay? Try doing that. Don't stress about it. I know I'm stressing you too much. Stop overthinking. Don't confuse yourself with two different things, right? It's okay. It's okay. You're going to practice questions. You win giving the right answers always. So be confident on that. Okay? Don't lose that confidence. All right. Strategic change. ये तो you all would have also understood by now कि इस पे question तो आता ही आता है. Somehow the favorite of the examiners is asking about strategic change, right? We all have been seeing that. But strategic change is a tricky topic, which is it has multiple things to consider. Now, one, you have to be very careful in this topic about what is being asked about strategic change. Okay, ji? Now, strategic change will have has like 3-4 subtopics, and each of those look almost similar. But please understand, you have to catch what is being asked in the examination and answer accordingly. Let's understand that. What do I mean by that? Okay. Now, steps to initiate strategic change. The steps to initiate strategic change. There are 3 steps to initiate strategic change. Recognize the need for change, create a shared vision for change, institutionalize the change. Recognize why you want to change. Change what? Let me ask you, यहाँ हम क्या change कर रहे हैं दोस्त? What is being changed here? In the chat, please tell me, what is being changed here? Strategy. Why? क्यों करनी है strategy change? क्या हो गया? Why do you have to change your strategy? बताओ, अभी पढ़ा है. Change in strategy due to environment. Great. What else? What else? Maybe flawed. Correct. Abhi pada in the 4 boxes of effective efficiency, in the 4 boxes of formulation versus implementation. Maybe your implementation is great, but your strategy is flawed. So strategy needs to change. Recognize the need for change. Create a shared vision for change. A shared vision is every employee, every stakeholder of your organization should understand that we need to change. Create a shared vision for change. Number 3, institutionalize the change, which means make sure it is documented. Make sure the change is built in the organization in a way that there are set rules, there are conditions to follow, there are rules to follow. Institutionalize it. Formulate in a way that policies and rules bante hain. That is called institutionalizing the change. Telling people, hey, this is the new way of doing things, and if you don't do it, this is what will happen. And if you do it, this is what will happen. Institutionalize the change. Question will come, what are the steps to initiate a strategic change? 1, 2, 3. Question comes, to make the change lasting, right? Explain with the help of Kurt Levin's model the 3 phases of change management or change process from moving an organization to present to future. Kurt Levin's model of 3 phases of change: unfreeze, change to the new situation, refreeze the change. The steps to initiate the change: recognize the need for change, create a shared vision, institutionalize the change. Kurt Levin's three phases of change process: unfreeze the situation, change the situation, and refreeze the situation. Now, change the situation can be through three ways. One is compliance, two is identification, and three is internalization. Question to you, my friends, LVRC. What is changing to new situation through compliance? What does that mean? The chat is open. You tell me, revision class hai. What do you understand by changing the to new situation through compliance? Through rewards and penalties. Absolutely, Asta. See, you give great answers. Why do you confuse yourself? What about others? Pooja, Kuldeep, Mujahid, Sid, Julie. This is a revision class, my friend. I know. नींद आती है सुबह, but एक महीना बचा है दोस्त. Just 1 month of controlling all the laziness you have. Give it the best. उसके बाद आराम से सोते रहना. By making laws in the organization, that is the norm. Okay, good. What do you mean by changing to the new situation through identification? What does identification mean? Changing to new situation through identification. What does that mean? Identification, my friend. If you're not able to answer, let's say, then my friend, this is also an eye-opening thing. कि अगर नहीं पता है तो पूछो. It's okay. It's your class. Ask, my friend. Ask. Learn. एग्जाम से पहले सीख लोगे बेटर है ना, rather than going there and sweating कि I don't know this. Sweat it today. Area where to implement. No, sorry Kuldeep, that's not the right answer. That's not what identification means. Okay. It means change by seeing some top management bringing that change or following that change. Yes, Pooja. Good. Through help of having role models for employees' motivation to be like them. Absolutely, Asta. Kuldeep, identification means people identify some role models in the organization who are bringing about the change as well. Example दूं आप लोगों को. Let's say you are the CFO of the organization. You have 120 people in your team. 120 लोग हैं आपकी टीम में. And you're talking about, guys, we need to get AI in the team. We need to work towards new technologies. We need to work towards using artificial intelligence in financial reporting, in making our business models, in making our recommendations. We need to use AI. Very good, sir. बहुत अच्छा change ला रहे हो. And then you ask them, अच्छा मेरे को you ask them, oh, you have done that work. Can you print and send it to me? Put, take a printout and give it to me. I will read it. Now people will be like, yeah, एक second. You're talking about AI. You're talking about technology. You're talking about using AI, and you're asking us to give you notes and reports in a printout so you can read them. Now, what will happen? What will happen? People will never be switching to the new ways of bringing AI into work. Why? Because they can't identify themselves with the role model saying कि यार जब ऊपर के लोग नहीं कर रहे तो हम क्यों करें, right? Now, if the same CFO asks the team that, hey, I did a certification course in artificial intelligence over the weekend and I learned something new. Let me share with all of you. And she keeps a 1 hour session as the CFO to share her artificial intelligence education, what she did over the weekend. अब इससे क्या होगा? 120 member team will automatically identify saying that, wow, she has started working on educating herself for the future. If we don't do, tomorrow it's going to be difficult for us. And they start educating themselves as well automatically. That is identification. And that is how you bring about a change, is what Kurt Lewin says. समझे बंधु? ठीक है जी. Number 3, internalization. What does internalization mean? Changing to the new situation through internalization. What does this mean? Changing to the new situation through internalization. What does this mean, my friend? Internalization का क्या मतलब? A very bad choice of words, Asta. Pressurizing employees to change through their own thoughts. It means change when you believe in changes. A much better word, Pooja, right? To learn and adopt with behavior. Correct. Asta pressurizing. किसी एम्प्लॉय को प्रेशर करोगे अच्छा लगेगा? A softer word could be, what you're saying is right, but the word usage, don't write pressurize. I'll tell you what better word you can have is influence. Influencing employees to change by changing their mindset, by making them believe in the change, as Pooja is saying, or to help them learn and adapt or adopt the new ways of working with the change in their behavior and mindset, as Kuldeep is saying. To change through their own internal thoughts, as Astha is saying. A better word could be influencing. Influencing people to change. Internalization का एक example देता हूँ आपको. You would have, what is vegan? Have you heard about people are converting to veganism? They're becoming vegan. सुना है? Have you heard about being vegan? Yes. Not veg generally. Veg is different from vegan, Kuldeep, but yeah, almost there. That is internalization. People are turning vegan, or let's say vegetarian. People are shifting towards vegetarian diet, if not vegan, because they are being influenced to live a different way of life. That don't harm animals, don't eat animals, animals are not for your eating, whatever it is, right? Everybody has their choice in life to make. We are nobody to tell somebody what to do. But people who really want to influence others to follow a different way of life, to change their way of life, they're using internalization. They're influencing to change their thoughts. That is called internalization. That is called internalization. Absolutely. Adopting within or self. So change management means the 3 steps to initiate the change, Kurt Levin's 3 phases of change, and then comes a question of digital transformation. Within change, within strategic change, A topic that chapter 5 really touches upon is digital transformation, which is converting to new technologies, as simple as that. It can be artificial intelligence, it can be robotics, it can be cloud management, it can be anything related to technology. Think of digital transformation as not just moving from a random bookkeeping to a software ERP system or a Tally software or an SAP software. That's very small example. Think of digital transformation as changing technology altogether in your organization. So the question is, how does digital transformation work? The change, what are what are the steps for change management in digital transformation? Question. Keyword of the question, when do you write these 4 steps is, the question comes, what are the steps for change management in digital transformation? What are the steps in change management for digital transformation is 1, define goals and objectives of the transformation, assess the current state of the organization in finding problem areas. कि भाई currently क्या technology we are using and what are the problems we are facing with this current old technology. 3, creating a roadmap for change with clear steps. Number 4, implementing and managing the change at all 3 levels of the organization. The keyword of the question is, what are the steps of change management in digital transformation? Define goals and objectives, assess the current state and find problem areas, create a clear roadmap of what needs to change, implement and manage the change at all 3 levels. Okay. Now, क्वेश्चन आता है, एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आता है, which says a good change management strategy is necessary for successful digital transformation. Okay, a properly implemented change management strategy can help an organization to specify parameters of digital transformation, determine the tools to be used, make a plan for implementing improvements, involve staff members, and track progress and make required course correction. I will take you to this topic, which is in conjunction with this topic, okay? But focus on this, okay? What is this? What is this? Now, the question that will come for this is what? मुझे बताएंगे आप लोग. Sorry. What is the question that you will be asked for this? You have to give me the keyword. You have to give me, my friend, the keyword for this topic. Question क्या पूछा जाएगा? What will be the question when you will answer these 5 bullet points? What will be the question when you will answer with these 5 points? Strategy used for implementing digital transformation and role of change management. Astha and Julie have given the right answer. Kuldeep, you remember we did this in the last class as well. I wanted to check how focused we are when we are in these classes. Astha has given the right answer. Julie has given the right answer. Managing change in small and medium businesses. कैसे करेंगे? ये है आपका इस टॉपिक का कीवर्ड, राइट? The keyword of this topic is pretty straightforward. I'm just finding the right thing in the study material and I'll show you. Okay? It's important we study this very clearly there as well. Okay? Just give me 1 second, I'll show you that as well. I want to make sure you go full prepared. Correct. Okay? Absolutely. Okay? Now, the keyword of this topic in the study material as well, let me show you in the study material as well. How are you revising? Again, this is my tip for you while you're revising. It's important to know the topic. What is even more important is to know what points to write, for what question. There we go, my friend. Okay, now you guys can see the screen. You guys can see the screen. Yes, I hope you can. Now, strategic change. When the question asks steps to initiate strategic change, recognize the need, create a shared vision, institutionalize the change. When the question says Kurt Levin's model of change, unfreeze, change to new situation, compliance, identification, internalization, refreeze. Question says, how does digital transformation work, right? Change management in digital transformation consists of 4 essential elements. Question देखो क्या आ रहा है? How does change management appear when applied to digital transformation? Change management included with digital transformation 4 elements. We just talked about them. Define the goals, assess the current situation, create a roadmap with clear thing, implement and manage the change at all levels. Then comes the question, right? Then comes the question, this one, what I was showing you. The 5 best practices for managing change in small and medium-sized businesses. These 5 topics, my friend, स्टडी मटेरियल में दिया हुआ है सब कुछ. क्वेश्चन कैसे समझना है, हाउ डू यू आइडेंटिफाई व्हाट शुड बी रिटन फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक. The 5 best practices for managing change in small and medium-sized businesses are: begin at the top, ensure that the change is both necessary and desired, reduce the disruption. Number 4, encourage communication. Number 5, recognize that change is norm and not the exception. Okay? Now, okay? Now, reduced disruption can have its own question as well. If I would have been an examiner, I can also give you, okay? I can also give you a question on asking, how do you reduce workplace disruption during a change management process? Okay, that also has 5 points. So a question within a question. That's what I'm saying. Change management is a topic which is frequently asked, my friends. And most of the times, most of us are really confused because it has multiple topics within change management, right? कि first was change management क्या है, right? Change management with digital transformation क्या है? Best practices for small and medium enterprises for change management क्या है, right? Within that, I also have a reducing disruption topic, that how do I reduce the disruption that will happen when I bring about a change? Those are also 5 points that particularly can be asked in the examination, right? And finally, in change management, how to manage change during digital transformation, right? Some pointers for navigating change during digital transformation. Specifically, अब समझिए, some pointers for navigating change during digital transformation. Okay, versus a topic what we just studied here, right? Change management in digital transformation consists of four essential elements. What are some elements? What are the essential elements of change management in digital transformation? These four topics. If the question is asking you, if the question is asking you, how do you navigate change during digital transformation? Then you have to write these 5 topics. Do you understand what I'm saying? 4 essential elements of change in digital transformation, the 4 points we studied. How do you navigate change during a digital transformation? During a digital transformation is these 5 points. One, specify the digital transformation's aim and objectives. Always communicate. Be ready for resistance and implement changes gradually. And finally, you have to offer assistance and training to your workers. Are we clear of the change management topic as to what to answer when a question comes? Because it gets jumbled. Let me be honest. That is the thing we have seen in examinations from students. We all jumble the answer. जहां पे ये 5 लिखने हैं वहां पे we write those 4, where we have to write those 4 we write these 5, और जाके, and if we are asking for best practices or small medium companies for change management, we write these 5. So be very clear of what is being asked. Are we clear on this, please? Yes, no, still confusing. Awesome. Thanks. Okay, good. Which point two, Asta? Which one's point two? Correct. See, that is what the explanation is also saying. Okay. Now think about this, Asta. If a corporation doesn't have a sound strategy in place, right? Introducing too much too fast can frequently become a major issue down the road. And the topic is ensure that the change is both necessary and desired. Okay, let me explain this to you with this. This line says, just because you want a change is not why the company should change. Just because everybody is going through a change, I will also go through a change, is not what a best practice for a small and medium-sized business is. It should be both necessary and desired. And it should just not be because the world around me is changing too fast and they're doing too much, if leadership shows a lot of speed, let's say, let me give you an example. Let's not talk theory, let's talk practical thing. Okay. Now think about this, Asta. You have a cafe. Okay, not just Asta, everybody, right? It's an example for everybody to learn here. Let's say you're running a cafe. Cafe में क्या हो रहा है कि other cafes, other cafes are going very hard on digital marketing. They're making reels, going viral on Instagram. They're spending money on QR code menus. Their payment systems are all online, right? They're spending money on digitizing their cafe. They're spending money on digitizing their cafe. अच्छी बात है. You also have a cafe and you see that, अरे वाह, everybody's doing this QR, everybody's going through digital, everybody's making Instagram reels. Okay. I should also do. And you start doing what everybody else is doing. You spend money on a QR code menu, you get uh, those online payment machines, companies charge you for it. Okay, you create your own website, you buy some ratings on Zomato, you start your Instagram page, you buy a new phone, a tripod, you pay an editor, and you do all of that for your cafe as well. But you're doing it just because everybody else is doing. But you lost the fact that it is your cafe. Why are What's different in your cafe? Why would you change now? Is this a best practice for a small and medium company to start spending so much money on change because it is not even desired or felt necessary? You're just doing it because of FOMO, fear of missing out. So this is not a best practice, Asta. What they're saying is decision makers are unaware of how to properly handle a digital transformation. हमको नहीं पता ये सब कर रहे हैं तो हम भी कर लेते हैं. No education on what is digitally needed for my business. Is it really needed for my business? Do I really want to do it? Is it even desired? Is it even necessary for my business? Without even knowing that, you start doing it, everything too fast to think, because you feel अरे बाकी सब कर रहे हैं मुझे भी करना है. That's not a best practice. That is what point number 2 is saying, my friend. If a corporation doesn't have a sound strategy in place, but you're just introducing a lot of changes too fast and too much, they can frequently become a major issue down the road. Are we clear on this? Awesome. Great. I was talking about the McKinsey 7S. Any questions on McKinsey 7S, my friend? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. मेरा एक क्वेश्चन आपसे, मुझे बस बताइए, you have to explain, you have to tell me McKinsey 7S मॉडल का यूज क्या है? Why is McKinsey 7S model even existing? क्यों चाहिए एक McKinsey 7S मॉडल? क्यों चाहिए एक McKinsey 7S मॉडल is my question to you. बताइए. Think about it and tell me. 7S's of McKinsey 7S we all know, we have all studied. ठीक है जी. How hard and soft elements are effective? Very bookish answer, Kuldeep. Tell me, what do you understand as a concept? McKinsey 7S क्यों चाहिए? छोड़ दो book को. Leave theory. This is, I'm not even asking from an exam perspective. Do you understand McKinsey 7S हो चाहिए क्यों? है क्या? What is McKinsey 7S model? For organization effectiveness, so that to see is everything in organization design is proper. Okay, good, very nice. Let me help you give an example as well. एक example लेता हूँ, and then let's see if that makes sense or not. ठीक है जी? How many of you have seen design of a house? एक घर का outlay structure देखा है कभी? On there's a paper and this is room, यहाँ से entry होगी, this is stairs. ऐसे एक map बना रहता है. You go to malls, right? You go to a mall, there is a floor map, right? कि on this floor these are the stores, this and this. क्यों है वो? क्यों चाहिए वो मुझे? Why do I need that? Why do I need that? Because the organization, because anything that needs to be developed needs a structural plan. एक structural plan होना चाहिए, so that there is no chaos and everything goes in the proper way. Absolutely, Asta. McKinsey's 7S model is that structural plan, which says, hey, 7 things that are really important for every business. Are they in order? 1 is your strategy, the hard elements, SSS, strategy, structure, system. Is your strategy overall blueprint of your core competency, your competitive advantage? Are you doing a growth strategy? Are you doing a retrenchment? Are you doing a sustainable strategy, right? Are you looking at a stability strategy? Are you a cost leader? Do you have entry barriers? How are you going to fight the entry barriers? Who are your customers? Who are your consumers? Have you done pestle analysis? Is your strategy in place? It asks you. It asks you, is your structure in place? आप SBU स्ट्रक्चर में हो, सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर में हो, आर ग्लास में हो, नेटवर्क स्ट्रक्चर में हो, क्लैरिटी है कौन सा स्ट्रक्चर में हो. नंबर 3, systems. Who does what? How will the work flow? Who will report to whom? The systems are in place or not? The work is defined or not? Hard elements. Then it says, on the overall culture, the soft elements, are your shared values of the organization clear? Does everyone know the vision, the mission? Where are we headed? Why are we doing this business? What is that this business is trying to achieve? Does everybody know? Does everybody believe in that? It asks you, what is your style of leadership that you want in your organization? You want to be a strict organization with transactional leaders, or you want to be a, a an entrepreneurship, an open thoughts culture where you have transformational leaders? Staff. Do you have the required number of people to do the kind of job you have in your business? And do they have the skills, or they are just random people that you have hired, or they are really skillful that will add value to your organization? What is it? The McKinsey 7S model helps you build a structure of your organization, the overall structure, and it asks you, are you ready to execute? Are these 7 things, the 3 hard and the 4 soft elements, in place? Are you clear on this? Are they ready? so that you can get into execution mode. System, Asta, means the flow of your work. Who does what? How the work happens. That is systems. Okay. Raw material कहाँ से आएगा? Who are my vendors? What are their contracts? Right? Is the quality good? Who will check the quality? Who will receive the product in the factory? Who is the factory manager? How many people will they have? How will the product enter? How will the manufacturing happen? So what is step one, step two, step three? What are the machines needed? Are we invested in the machine? If the machine breaks down, what will happen? Are the systems in place? Do I have a backup engineer on the floor in factory to check the machines? ऐसे 10,000 काम होंगे आपको. एक छोटा सा ये कॉफी मग बनाना है, कुछ नहीं करना, कॉफी मग बनाना है. But think about the amount of work that will go in it. That is systems. That is systems. The daily tasks. Are we clear on that? Whether that is being answered, that is clear to us or not. That is systems. Okay, great. Now, Chandler gave us a relationship between what? It says this the relationship between the organizational structure and strategy is a cyclical relationship. कि आप एक नई strategy बनाओगे, you will have new problems. When you have new problems, your performance will go down. When your performance will go down, you will try to change your organizational structure and your performance will start improving. When your performance will start improving, something new will happen in the environment and you will change your strategy again. When you change your strategy, new problems will arise. When new problems will arise, you will change your organizational performance will go down. You will change your structure and your performance will improve. When your performance will improve, something new will come in the environment. Then you will have new problems. You will change again. It's a cyclical relationship between organizational structure and strategy. That is what Chandler told us in chapter 5. Okay. Simple structure, clear. You stop me wherever you want to revise. I think simple structure, pretty clear. Functional structure, pretty clear. We did that questions. All of you could answer functional structure very clearly. Divisional structure again, right? The divisional structure again is where you divide it into divisions, right? Division A, Division B, Division C, and you have functional people within each division. That was your divisional structure. Multi-divisional structure is where a lot of people face confusion, but this is the most redundant structure, to be very honest. Multi-divisional structure was essentially formed when you had a lot of different products which were unrelated, right? So you wanted to have a multi-divisional structure, but multi-divisional structure today very rarely any organization uses. The new, the most relevant way of structuring a multi-divisional structure essentially has become SBU, Strategic Business Unit. Okay. Multi-divisional structure essentially was used by organizations which had many different businesses which were unrelated, right? That those were the companies who used multi-divisional structures, but it has been overtaken by SBU, which is more futuristic, better control, more independent, quicker decisions, more autonomy, more ownership. So multi-divisional आज की डेट में almost redundant ही हो चुका है. What has taken place of multi-divisional is an SBU structure, which is this, right? An SBU structure, again, independent, has its own set of competitors, has its own decision making, own functional team, own uh, business head reporting directly to the parent company. So strategic business unit is the new way of doing business in most of the big organizations. But organizations which are very, very, very huge, they generally get into matrix structure as well. At companies as big as like a TCS, a Reliance, a Wipro, an Aditya Birla Group, all these companies generally get into a matrix structure where the key word of a matrix structure is dual reporting. One person reports to two people, one the functional head, and second is the division, or let's say the vertical line head and the horizontal line head, right? So matrix structure ka key word is dual reporting. Wherever you see a person reporting to two people, चुपचाप जाके matrix structure का answer कर देना. Nothing more than that should catch your eye, or the keyword here would be people reporting to multiple or two people, right? That's matrix structure for you. Network structure, asset light model again. You don't own anything. You have different contracts with different companies that help you with your business while you focus on your core competency, while you focus on doing what you do best. बाकी सब आप outsource कर देते हो. That is network structure. Hourglass structure is wide at the top, narrow in the middle, and widest at the bottom. Generally, in startups where you have a lot of investors and co-founders who have do a lot of decision making, very few middle managers, and then a lot of big team that is working at the bottom, right? So that is hourglass structure. Generally, new companies, tech companies, in startups. Okay. Then strategic leadership, transactional and transformational. I think all of you pretty much are very, very clear on strategic leadership. Uh, Simple hai, transactional hai, transformational hai, right? Nothing much probably. If you still have questions, my friend, the chat is open. You want me to answer any doubts and questions in any of these topics, feel free to ask, right? Then we come to strategic control, right? Types of control. One is operational control, which is generally for individual tasks. Then you have management control of overall activities of the organization. And then you have strategic control, which is the control over the strategy. And this is what we are talking about in this chapter is strategic control, right? The types of strategic control that probably uh, frequently asked again, generally in form of MCQs or in case scenarios. You can also have them in descriptive, but generally MCQs में देखे गए हैं, but that doesn't mean वहीं आएंगे. Okay, they can come as descriptive questions as well. So types of strategic control, my friend, are premise control, special alert control, strategic surveillance, and implementation control. Where premise control is you keep checking the assumptions of your strategy time and again if they're still relevant or not. Special alert control is when something big happens in the environment, like the current war that is going on in the West Asia, right? That is what special alert control. So you're aware of what is happening. You keep an eye on that. What are the opportunities and what are the threats being created in the industry, right? Hindrance means stopping something, Nagaraj, right? Hindrance means to block something, to stop something. It's a hindrance to you. So Instagram reels are a hindrance to your preparation. They stop you from studying, right? Strategic surveillance is random update on things happening around, right? Reading newspapers, magazines, talking to the people, random knowledge of the world is strategic surveillance. And implementation control has two things, monitoring thrusts and milestone reviews. So implementation control is you have a regular check of your business, the revenue, the profits, the margins, a monthly review of your business, and the review of milestones that you say. Let's say if you say in 6 months I want to double the business, after 6 months you sit down and see, did I even double my business or not? You check your milestones, you keep an eye on your milestones. That is also controlling the implementation of your strategy, whether you're doing the right thing and achieving the results that you desire. Okay. And finally, we have strategic performance measures, which is basically telling you what are some of the performance measures that the organization should evaluate to see if they are on the right track. One is financial measures, something like return on investment, revenue growth, profit margins. All of these metrics help in evaluating whether you're going in the right direction or not. Is performance measure implementation control? No. Implementation control is strategic control. Performance measures is evaluation of strategy. Topic ही अलग है पूजा. Okay. Performance measures is evaluation of your strategy, and your implementation control is your control of strategy. Strategic control topic में आता है implementation control. Strategic performance measure comes under evaluation of strategy. Customer satisfaction measure, keep checking, keep getting reviews, feedbacks, Google reviews, you have Zomato reviews, stars मिलते हैं, Amazon पे stars मिलते हैं, customer reviews मिलते हैं. Keep a check on that. Are people happy with your business? Market measures, measure your market share, your customer acquisition. Are you able to get new customers? Are you able to get customer referrals? Right? Those are market measures. Then you have employee measures. Are people happy? How many people are leaving the organizations? Are people excited to join the organization? What is the brand image of your organization with employees? Keep a check on that. Innovation measures. Are you spending ample money on R&D? Is your pipeline of new products enough to support you in the coming years, or do you have no innovation at all and you're just dependent on your current model, current products? That is innovation measures. And lastly, you have environmental measures. With all the good work you're doing, are you making sure that you're also helping save the environment? If not save, at least you're not destroying the environment. Right? That is also a performance measure. An organization should evaluate whether they are on the right track or not. Okay. And that is where your syllabus ends, my friend. Very nice. In conglomerate strategy, there is some degrees of overlap in one or more of these factors, means there is synergy. Yes, correct, correct. An overlap in one or more of these factors means there is synergy. Yes, is that a question or you're asking me? Yes, that is synergy. Okay, my friends. The revision of the entire chapter is done. What we do next is practice, right? Because trends will come under demographic, yes, or social. Trends will come under demographic or socio-cultural. You tell me. Trends come under demographic or socio-cultural. Socio-cultural factors, right? Socio-cultural lifestyle trends. See, that is how we revise. मैं भी book से ही पढ़ रहा हूँ. I'm also studying from the book itself, my friend. आपको भी book से ही पढ़ना है. In short note on PLC, do we draw the PLC? Yes, it's a simple diagram, man. Nagaraj, you can do that. If time allows, it's not necessary. Again, please. Diagrams in strategic management are not compulsory, are not mandatory, but they really add value to your answer only if you have time, my friend. Do not spend a lot of time making a good diagram. Spend time only if you have time. PLC is a small ऐसे ग्राफ बना के लाइन ही तो बनानी. It will take hardly 30 seconds. If you have time, make it. Nothing like it. Okay. Asta, are you sure? Hold is cash cow, harvest is what? Okay, while we answer that, what I have for you on the screen, my dear friends, before I even get into this case scenario, do you remember the tip I had shared on how to solve the case scenario? 10 मार्क्स का केस सिनारियो आना है एग्जाम में मैंडेटरी कंपल्सरी केस सिनारियो क्वेश्चन आएगा 10 मार्क्स का which is 20% of your 50 marks is a case scenario. What is the tip that I had shared on how do you solve case scenarios, my friend? क्या tip we shared with you? If you can tell me, if you can help revise, what is the tip we shared? Read the questions first, right? You should read the question first. Very good. So अभी मेरे सामने case scenario है. We'll go and read the questions first. Read question number 1, my friend. Read question number 1. Okay. Read question 2, my friend. Very nice. Read question 3, 4, and 5. Read questions 3, 4, and 5. Once done, tell me, and then we go and read the case scenario. Practice, my friend. Practice कर रहे हैं. Choose the time for your exam practice. Once done, give me a okay, yes, so that we go on the case scenario. इतना time तो नहीं लगना चाहिए पढ़ने के लिए. I'm going to the case scenario, my friend. Exam में इतना time लोगे फिर तो हो गया. Okay. Case scenario on your screen. Spend time. Read it. Read it. Read the case scenario, my friends, carefully. You've read the questions. Try to link those questions wherever you read that in the case scenario and just take a mental image कि हाँ यहाँ पे था वो. Practice. Okay, Asa, to your question. In network structure, it is written that if a firm over specializes on only few functions, it runs a risk of choosing the wrong function and thus becoming non-competitive. But here we are outsourcing, then why we will choose wrong function? We will stick on our core competencies. That's exactly what the first statement is saying. If the firm over specializes on only few functions, right? And it runs the risk of choosing the wrong functions, जिसमें आपकी core competency है ही नहीं, आप उस पे भी काम करने लग जाओ अगर, you run the risk of becoming non-competitive. That's exactly what they are saying. Now, if I am an engineer and I over specialize, I spend so much of my time on deciding the color of the packaging of my product. I'm gone. My core competency, my area of expertise is the machinery of the product. And I'm spending time on designing the packaging of the product. So network structure will fail. If you over specialize on functions which are not your core competency, there is a big risk you will fail. Others, are we reading the case scenario? Where are we? I'm moving to the next page. Okay, what is the answer to question number one? What is the answer to question number one? Question number one, what is the answer, my dear friends? The chat is open for you. Pooja, Nagaraj, Kuldeep, Mujahid, Sid, Julie, Asta. Question number one, what is the answer? Strategic group mapping. Wonderful. Question number two. Question number two, what is the answer? बताइए। Pestle analysis. Pestle analysis for external environment. Question number 3. What is the answer? Yeah, I've got 3 answers for third question. What about others? Question number 3. Differentiation and enhance customer experience. Question 4 on your screen. Okay, there is some people are saying strategy, some people are saying shared values. Mixed bag answers are there. Urbanscape's eco-friendly housing project and emphasis on innovation shows a strong internal culture of sustainability and forward thinking. Which component of 7S framework does this reflect? I would go with option number C, shared values as well. Why? Values of the organization that everybody is being pushed towards is to think sustainable and think futuristic. It's a shared value of the organization that is driving innovation. The shared value of the organization to think futuristic and think sustainability is actually helping them innovate, is actually helping them towards innovation. That is why shared values is what I would also select. It's an strong internal culture of sustainability and forward thinking. Okay. Number 5. Premise control. premise control. Verifying ongoing validity of assumptions, premise control. Verification of assumptions of strategy, premise control. Awesome. 4 out of 5 is not a bad score. Can be 5 out of 5 for sure. That is where you increase your another 2 marks. Okay. Let me now take you to Jan 26 paper. Okay. Oh, I just went out of Hindi piece. Here we go. Section B. You remember we did these questions? You remember? This is how questions come. This is how the question paper will look. You remember we discussed these questions? How many of you remember? Correct? Correct. Jan 25. Okay. Now let me fix B. Question 6, part B. Read this question and raise your hand who wants to attempt this question. Share with us how would you write this answer, because that is more important, my friend. Descriptive questions is where you will start losing a lot of marks. I know that. So I want to practice that even more. Read question 6B, raise your hand and share. You should be confident by now to raise your hand, and even if it's wrong, even if it's not not wrong, but absolutely as you want it to be, I would still encourage unmute yourself and speak up, because इसके बाद कोई revision नहीं होने वाला. इसके बाद कोई there's not going to be this level of guidance that you can get before your examination. So use the opportunity. अदरवाइज क्लासेस तो रिकॉर्डेड आपको कहीं भी मिल जाएंगी, यूट्यूब पे, बीओएस ऐप पे. रिकॉर्डेड क्लासेस तो आपको मिल ही जाएंगी. In a business strategy, consider a firm pursuing cost leadership to become the lowest cost producer in its industry. For this approach to be effective, what key conditions must be present? Anybody who wants to attempt, raise your hand. Customers are sensitive to price. Standard product is acceptable. Environment is not going much for differentiation. Product is not having much difference to create to attract customers. Okay, great points. cost leadership strategy. Okay. Let me also take you to how the institute expects you to write an answer. I'm showing you how you can go and revise, showing it to you live, my friend, showing everything to you live. See, cost leadership aims at becoming the lowest cost producer in an industry. Striving to be the low cost producer can especially be effective when the market is composed of many price sensitive buyers and when there are a few ways to achieve product differentiation. Study material में हूं मैं दोस्त. Striving to be a low cost producer in industry can be especially effective when the market is composed of many price sensitive buyers, when there are few ways to achieve product differentiation. Question क्या था? Question was, for this approach to be effective, what key conditions must be present? Study material says these two conditions must be present. Suggested answer says these two conditions must be present. Question then asks, what are the potential disadvantages of cost leadership? Study material says some risks of pursuing cost leadership are that the competitors may imitate the strategy, that, right, that technological breakthrough in the industry may make the strategy ineffective, or that the buyer interest may swing to the other side, to which they are sharing the disadvantages of cost leadership strategy. वो risk थे, ये disadvantages हैं. The disadvantages are, it may not last long as competitors may imitate what we studied. It can succeed only if the firm can achieve higher sales volume. Cost leadership tends to keep their costs low by minimizing cost of advertising, market research, and R&D, which in the long term can be expensive. And technological advancement areas are a great threat to cost leaders. Okay, disadvantages. Those 4 disadvantages of cost leader from the study material are expected out of you for this 5-mark question in the examination. Question to you, my friend. How many of you were able to answer that in your mind? Did you recall those points in your mind? Yes or no? Yes, Asta says yes. Fantastic, Asta. Wonderful. What about others? What about others? Awesome. Very nice. Good. That's what you have to write. If you could recall that, right? Cash cows are to be harvested, Asta, always. Cash cows are to be harvested. Okay, my friend. Another question in January 26, 7B. Question 7B from the examination. Read and tell me a few points you would answer. You guys are very shy to unmute, share, Not very confident, very sad. I'm very sad. But anyway, share your key points, what you would write in this answer at least, so that you can practice with me, if not yourself. Innovation is widely regarded as a catalyst for business growth, enabling firms to upgrade existing products and processes, enhance customer satisfaction, and improve profitability. In light of this statement, explain what an innovation offers to the organization and any risk involved in doing so. You read the question. It's 4 plus 1. 4 plus 1. They're asking for 4 good points and 1 risk. Innovation, introduction to the question. Innovation refers to creation and implementation of new or significantly improved products. Introduction, content. What innovation offers to the organization helps solve complex problems, increases productivity, and gives competitive advantage. Risks involved in innovation: high cost and financial risk, uncertain returns, technological uncertainty, implementation risk, right? Thus, while innovation is a powerful driver of growth, productivity, and competitive advantage, it also has risks that must be carefully managed to achieve long-term sustainability and success. मैं आपसे पहले तो ये छोड़ो, मैं आपसे एक और पूछता हूँ. Innovation is part of which broad grand strategy? ये बता दो मुझे चलो. Innovation is part of which grand strategy? Growth. Awesome. Perfect. It is part of the growth strategy that we studied, innovation. The goods of the innovation. The goods of the innovation are help solve complex problems, increases productivity, and gives competitive advantage. The risks are uncertainty है भाई, technological uncertainty है, environment uncertainty है, high cost involved है, and implementation होगी या नहीं होगी, the skills and the organizational capabilities that we have, whether they will be able to justify the innovation or not. What are we trying to practice here is how the questions are going to come, my friend. Okay. Now, I'll take you to another one. This is September 2025 का पेपर. ठीक है जी. September 2025 में चलते हैं. Simple, straightforward questions I can read here. Just reading quick questions. Okay. Very straightforward. Very nice. 8B. Do you remember the table we saw today? Question 8B. Question 8B. Do you remember the table we saw today for differentiation? Awesome. That's exactly what they need in the examination as well. You just have to give them that table. You just have to give them that table. Implementation versus formulation. Okay. Great. 9:11 in my clock. I want to open this forum for questions, doubts that you have, right? Formulation is planning and entrepreneurial implementation is an administrative activity. Awesome. Kuldeep. That's exactly the same table that is expected from this question. 4.22 of chapter number 4 is what you're asking, Asta. Let me go to study material. This is chapter 3 for me. While we check that, this is what you're saying, Asta. Okay. This is essentially, you should ignore the word turnaround here. I agree, this should not be there. This is actually major reasons for retrenchment overall, right? And this is divestment for sure, right? The business that had been acquired proves to be a mismatch and cannot be integrated. You divest. Severity of competition and the ability of the firm to cope up with it may cause it to divest, right? Absolutely. We will give this feedback as well. And this is all divestment for sure. This is all reasons for divestment for sure, right? We'll give this feedback for sure. Thanks for highlighting this. Great. Okay, awesome. Any more questions? Any further doubts? Anything that you feel must be asked before you go for the examinations? And also, I would like to, Kuldeep, I see your hand raised. You want to speak? You want to share something? I can unmute as well if you want. You can drop your question in the chat as well, or if you want, I can unmute you as well. Sure, let me unmute you.
Sir, good morning.
Morning, Kuldeep. Please tell me.
Sir, I recently attended mock test, full mock test at chapter. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Uh, uh, Paper went well, but this digital transformation and how strategic management can help in smooth change was very confusing.
mm-hmm,
So they asked the steps, what strategies could be used. So it
mm-hmm.
was because overall concept, if you see, uh, somehow very mixing. Uh,
Correct.
we find I found very confusing at that stage. What to
Okay. So mm,
where to highlight, what to highlight over question.
we and specifically I took that in the class today. If you see, I know that's very confusing, and I have seen a lot of queries on that as well. You see, it's very clearly now defined. Like if you attended the entire class, which you have, right? Every topic in change management and digital transformation has a keyword to start that particular question. What are the best practices? What are the steps? What are the elements of change management in a digital transformation? Or what are the best practices for change management? All these are essentially what, so I can tell you from experience, the examiner uses the exact words from the study material, right? The examiner is not really trying to trick you. Let me be very honest. The examiner is testing what is there in the material, and they're going word by word from the material. That is what you would have seen in the questions as well, in the real question papers that we have shared and discussed over the course of these sessions. The thing will to identify. So there are 4 points only. So there are 4 topics within digital transformation, let's say, right? Each topic has a very clear definition that, hey, what are the best practices of small and medium? If that is being asked, you write these four. What are the elements of digital transformation for change management? These are the three. What are the steps for change management digital transformation? These are the 4 points. It's very clearly there what we showed today in the class as well. So that is where you will that kind. I know it gets confusing because it's a repetition of the same points, almost the same, if not the same, right? But those opening keywords will really help you identify that what
I
essentially
read
is
that
being
question.
asked.
Sir, I read that question. I have
Mm,
that paper. Why is change management crucial during digital transformation? And what are some key strategies for navigating change effectively? This was exact
mhm,
question of 5 mark, and
okay.
I was able to. How I explained.
Mhm,
I explained about
mhm,
the what is digital. I give some brief. I
mm,
gave brief on what is the strategic change, why change management is required, and
mhm,
how change management can help, because digital transformation creates a new set of work environment, so it will
mm,
face challenges from existing workforce. And
absolutely.
so I was able to in last point, navigating change effectively, I written points on communicate continuous communication, internalizing. I
Mhm,
mixed, it means I jumbled 3 points.
okay. If you allow me, Kuldeep, I'll share my screen again and I'll tell you why you got confused. Okay, there we go. You see change management, and now you have this change management strategies for digital transformation. Okay, now the question you were asking probably was, here we go. Okay, now the correct words, the question was, how do you navigate change during digital transformation, right? That is what the question was.
Yeah, how uh, some key strategies for navigating change effectively.
Hmm. You see what's the word here?
Right, right.
Navigating change during digital transformation. You see, these are the 5 points. So what I'm telling you is the examiner is reading the material and asking questions from it. As simple as that. So as an examinee, as somebody writing an exam, the things become easier for you when you know the examiner is going to ask this for every topic, for every topic across the study material. Now you know navigating change, यही पूछेंगे वो, यही लिख के देंगे वो. They will put a word because they're using the material to make a question, right? So that is how you start becoming less confused when you're writing. I know, I totally agree with you. I totally, in theory subjects, not just SM, you pick up any theory subject across the globe, across the world, whatever course you are doing, theory subjects become confusing because most of the topics are common sense and they feel the same. एक ही बात को चार तरीके से हो रही है, correct? That's how it feels. But the answer for examination would come somewhere from like this. This is where your identification of what I really need to answer will come from, right? But I totally agree with you. It's all about reading more questions. It's more about giving mock test papers. That is where the magic is going to happen for you, right? You gave a mock test paper, now you know. अगली बार navigating question आ गया exam में, you're getting 5 out of 5 for sure, right?
Yes, I was able to answer, mention point
Hmm.
number two and point number three.
Okay. Okay, still you get 2 marks. Still you get 2 marks. But again, the mock test paper practice really enhances that the gray area कि मुझे आता तो है but I'm not getting marks. That's why. Because now you know कि हाँ navigating था तो these were the 5 points and next time such question comes because there are limited number of questions. If you pick up last 5 attempts, you will see limited number of questions होते हैं. Because we have what like 50 concepts and each exam will have to test at least 20 concepts. 20 MCQs आएंगे आपके डिस्क्रिप्टिव आएंगे 20 concepts तो वो पूछेंगे out of 50 55 total concepts जो हमारे पास हैं. So there will be repetition of the same words, the same keywords in a different language. The starting of the question may be different, but ending में वो almost same हो जाएगा. And that is where reading more questions, practicing mock test papers becomes even more crucial for all of us, right?
Yes, I find it this entire mock test is must for every student. I would suggest
Absolutely,
because what happened,
absolutely.
if you have allow me, I give some hint on this.
Sure,
What
sure, sure.
happened?
Please, please.
Because it will benefit all us. Uh, what
Absolutely.
happened? Because it is mixed with final FM paper and this SM paper.
Hmm,
Okay. So what happened that we usually tend to move for FM first. This is because we
hmm,
know that it has to be completed within time and numbers, and there is a lot of thinking process involved. So
hmm,
what happened that you always you miss on time, and I was
hmm,
able to complete by when 70 minutes were left in completing the
hmm,
70 minutes left, and I was able to start the SM time. So
hmm,
uh, now 11:45 is time, and I am now starting on SM, right? And there are some
hmm,
leftovers which are not complete in FM still pending. So
hmm,
then you have very little time to think, and SM is about thinking process. Okay, you have to identify
hmm,
uh, keywords, what to
hmm,
answer, what
hmm.
not to answer.
Right.
So I find it very challenging. So what I want to say that time management is very important, and at 1.5 hour left, you have to start SM because FM
Absolutely.
में अगर आपका खराब एक्सपीरियंस रहा तो उसका इफेक्ट
Hmm.
SM पे आएगा ही वो सेम एग्जाम
Correct.
दिस आई व्हाट आई ऑब्जर्व anyhow I
And
was
that
able to
this
complete
experience
very
you can
fine.
only get when you actually practice in real exam scenario, which is mock test paper. ये बताने से नहीं आएगा. This will only when you experience it firsthand, that is the lesson you learn for yourself.
Yes, as so reading the
Hmm.
entire text, this study material is very important because otherwise it will not click in your mind कि भाई
Correct.
ये कहाँ पे कीवर्ड लिखा है तो मुझे आपको आप जब एग्जाम में जाते हैं तो क्या होता है कि जब
Hmm.
एग्जाम में जाते हैं तो आपको आपने जो रीड किया हुआ है तो आपका सबकॉन्शियस माइंड आपकी बुक में ढूंढता है कि भाई मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा है तो वो बुक में मैंने कौन
Correct. Hmm.
सो क्या होता है एक दो बार पढ़ा होता है तो आपका माइंड वो आपका चैनल पूरा उधर चला जाता है बुक में कौन सा पेज पे
Hmm.
मैंने कहीं देखा था
Hmm.
so I find it very easy useful to read books. uh, no I was not able to 100% में उतना परफेक्ट नहीं था but I was able to complete and I
Hmm.
thank BOS and ICI for mock test. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Sudeep. I think what you have said is absolutely so much valuable for all of us, including us, because These are some intricacies only when you get to hear when you actually go in the examination, right? And thanks for that, I think other people in the class or people who would watch this video also hear you, also learn from you, and also I'm very, very happy and I congratulate you because you've been doing fantastic in the classes and giving mock test papers and sharing that real insight कि FM अगर थोड़ा सा हिला तो SM पे impact आएगा and the time management because it's two papers combined and interesting, right? I would also like to welcome, we have Ruchi ma'am here. Ma'am, if you want to like motivate our students, sure. I mean, I'll just make you a co-host as well if I can. Let's see. I don't have the rights. Oh, now you're the co-host, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Ajit. Thank you very much. I would like to add on something what the Kuldeep has, I think the name is Kuldeep, who has raised a
Yes,
very
ma'am.
relevant question that time management, it's really a very crucial phase because in especially in 50-50 marks paper, my advice to all the students, please make sure that you should complete financial management in 50 in 1.5 hour, that is 1 hour 30 minutes, and do your strategic management only in 1 hour 30 minutes. Otherwise it will not possible for you to write the answers, articulate the answers, and understand the answers well in strategic management. So please students, from the very beginning, do one thing, that choose any of the subject for 1 hour 30 minutes, then only you will go for another. It will not work if you will say that only 70 minutes we are using for writing the strategic management paper. Definitely you will lose the marks. It's not, I can say simply that in many of the classes I have already told that strategic management is not at all a theoretical paper. It's an application based paper. You have to apply the concepts which you have read in your study material from through syllabus or from real life examples. Apply all those concepts in your day-to-day life, in day-to-day business changes, whatever the developments are going on in the business scenario. You just see that all these concepts are here and there are using in real life. So please appreciate and understand this, that time management is very crucial and you have to give due weightage to strategic management. Otherwise you can't write correct answers. It seems that it is easy, we can read 1 2 3 times and we can able to write the answers, but it's not possible. Once you write the answer, that's why your faculty and we always said this, give directives on this, that please do more and more practice of the questions. Practice in what sense? By writing by articulating the answers. Then only you will able to know that where is the gap. As Kuldeep has rightly mentioned over here that yes, this is the case, and that's why students were not able to write. We have one more series of mock test paper. I think it will be on 13th or 14th of April of strategic management. Please do that also. It will give you a boost, give you the confidence that yes, we can write the answers, because it is very important for students to at least have their yes, we can do. You need that confidence. If any student have any query, any doubt, if somebody wants to ask anything from me, you are most welcome, and please raise your hands so that we can unmute you. If anybody would like to ask anything. I think it is very good that everything is clear for the students. So we will conclude the class as this for May 2026 examination. This is the last class. LVRC class for May 2026 examinations. And I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the students who have actively participated, as well as the faculty who has I can say contributed so much in your preparations of this strategic management May 2026 examination. Students, please remember that the joining hands together, it is very important in the coming weeks. Coming weeks are very crucial, and how you utilize them will define your results. Revise consistently, solve MTPs, not only these MTPs which are meant for May 2026, even you can solve the MTPs which are already for your previous attempts, right? Your RTPs not only for May 2026, even you can practice from January 26, September 25, and so on. Practice past papers. Most importantly, believe in yourself, believe in your preparation. Remember, students, that success in CA course is not about 1 minute effort, or just give a glance for the study material and get ready for writing the answers in the examination. It will not serve the purpose. I am telling you, it's very bluntly, that it will definitely not serve the purpose. Till the time you will not at least practice the questions, you will not at least read 3 to 4 times the concepts from the study material, right? So, but remember this, that the clarity of the concepts, your mindset, that all matters. And one more very important thing is that stay away from distractions. Distractions, what kind of a healthy balance between your study and your rest, your well-being, and focus on your weak areas. What are your strengths and what are your weak areas? Try to strengthen your weak areas. Maintain a timetable with respect to your pace and stick to there is no specific timetable for everyone. No, every student has different pace of understanding, learning. So accordingly, you have to prepare a timetable, right? Every hour invested now brings you one step closer to become a chartered accountant, or you can say become a interclear student. So remember that board of studies is always with you. We are here to help you through resources, guidance, or any kind of academic support you feel that you wanted. This time you are always welcome to connect us. And students, please use all the resources, whatever the resources BOS is providing you, please use those resources. And last but not the thing, please always remember that you all are very capable. You are a big asset for us. You all are capable, you are prepared, and you are ready for the examination. Think like that, because nobody will help you till the time you show confidence in yourself, right? One of the student is asking some question, Mr. Naga Arjun. He has asked, in exam part B, first question compulsory, so of attend first or attend lastly. Student, please, it's totally up to you. Whatever you feel that this question we can write earlier, or this question we can attempt first or second, it's totally up to you. If you feel that you are comfortable with question number 1, which is compulsory, and you know the answers after reading a fast reading of the scenario, you must be able to at least find out that what should be the ideal answer for this. So you can do it first, because if this is a compulsory question, so it is advisable to at least attempt this question, definitely, right? Any other thing any student would like to ask? So, okay, thank you everyone. Wishing each one of you great success in the May 2026 examinations. may your have done justice with our job. If remember students that I don't know that how much others will happy with your success. Of course, your parents, you will definitely enjoy the success. But remember, the faculties, the teachers, those who are mentoring you, they will equally enjoy that. That yes, your faculty CRG city is always on time. Do you agree with this or not? Yes, na? So if he is also taking pain and he is sitting in front of you by 7 o'clock, so definitely he will also happy if you all succeed in your examination. Able to understand, and this is the doubt and this is the problem which we are facing. You are always welcome to connect with Board of Studies through BOS mobile app, ask your query, or through direct, you can send your mails to me. Write down my email ID, ruchi.gupta@icai.in. You are always welcome. Right? Thank you. Thank you, Arjit. Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
students. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, technical team.
Thanks, everyone. Wish you all the best and see you in CA finals. Anji,
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
Thank you, Ashok.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.